Hi, I'm Heather Lindsay, proud CHS alumni, a Hall of Fame famer, and now the Chelmsford High School Alumni Association Capital Campaign Director. It's so unique that Chelmsford High School has an alumni association, and it's more impressive probably on how long that we've had the association and how well it's done. Today, I am joined by Mr. Chelmsford, George Simonian, Lou DeStacy, class 97, Jim Lane, class of 83, and the president of the association, Terry McShee, class of 64. And we're just going to talk today about all of the great things that have happened in the past, what's going on right now, and what the future of the Alumni Association looks like. So, you know, as I mentioned, it's very unique to have such a great association and be a public high school with an alumni association. And I know it was you and Billy Cohane somehow had this great vision, and just talk a little bit about how it got started and what was the original goal of the association.
Yeah, actually, the idea of an alumni association came about in the fall of '74. Okay, Billy had just graduated from high school, and we had just opened up the new school, and he came to visit that fall and thought that we should have an alumni association. I told him, my answer to him was, public high schools don't have alumni associations. And his idea was, well, too bad we don't have one, because he'd like to keep in touch with his pals, and you know, and that's what an alumni association does. You know, it keeps people in touch, people who went to the same school. And so I kept putting him off until when I retired in '88, we revisited this along with Bill Logan, and the three of us sat at my kitchen table back in October of '88 and started the Alumni Association. But that was just the start. We had all kinds of people helping. In fact, your mother was involved in the beginning. And so we put together what we thought we should be doing. We had nothing to go by. Like I said, there are some schools that have alumni associations, but only in name only, okay? And maybe they do one or two things, but nothing like we envisioned. And so we put a steering committee together, a bunch of folks from different classes, and from the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s, and we, in fact, we come up with a vision statement, and this is pretty good. In fact, this was written back when we first got started. I'd like to read that. I know it's going to take a little time, but I think it's important. The vision statement is creating a passion for the Chelmsford High School Alumni Association that will inspire loyalty and commitment to the Chelmsford High School Alumni Association, permitting alumni to see their involvement with the Alumni Association as meaningful and exhilarating through developing the Chelmsford High School Alumni Association as a financially self-sufficient, cohesive, and energetic organization within the Chelmsford community. Cultivation of students at Chelmsford High School to ensure participation in the Alumni Association following graduation. Providing opportunities for the assembly of its members for the exchange of ideas and opportunities and the fostering of camaraderie. Establishing an accessible place for its members to assemble and as a repository of historic memorabilia and records, and to house the officers of the Alumni Association. Like I said, now this was written back in '88, '89, and today it holds true even for today. The vision is still the same, okay? And we've come a long way since. We've come a long way since.
Well, why is it important, Terry? I mean, you're the president now. You've been, I don't know, sometimes we don't like to talk about years, but I did give you graduation year. And so now you've been the president, you know, 16, 17 years now. Yes. You know, why was it important, and how did you become a part of the association?
Well, it was funny. I enjoyed my time at CHS. I probably could have been a better student, but I had a lot of fun at CHS and felt the ability to stay connected with CHS was important to me. I mean, my father was 34, I was class of 64, my oldest daughter is class of 94, my grandchildren, 2 of them are going to be class of 26 and 30. So I just felt it was a way to maintain that long history that I've had with CHS.
And what do you think that the impact has been? In all of your time right now, kind of the impact of the association, how does it affect the high school and the community?
Well, we try to do things for CHS that the town can't or doesn't do. Part of our charter is that we can't do what the town should do. We prohibit ourselves. But we try to do the other things, whether it be students who have been recognized for something that's outside the purview of the school paying for their trips. We'll try to contribute to their trips, help them do that. The scholarship program is one of the main ones. We've started to involve in the last few years the actual high school students with our board of directors so that we're interacting with the high school more and getting feedback both ways.
So as soon as you graduate, now you know that, you
Right.
you should be a part of the membership and those kind of things.
You know we exist and we're
Yep.
here to help.
You go through there. Jim, what brought you to the Alumni Association? I mean, a great memory. I mean, the 4 great years. What do you think drove your decision?
I think, all of the above, right? But, much like Terry, my 4 years of high school were obviously life-changing and set the trend for what I was going to do with my life. What you see in George, from his mission statement there, his vision statement, passion, pride, loyalty, those are 3 big things that you see from all Chelmsford High School graduates. And you see them, even though they might leave and get educated and live somewhere else for a short period of time, there seems to be a big following to come back to the town of Chelmsford and contribute to the town. Most people like to contribute. They fit it in between their children and their personal things that they have to do, but they give back to the community. And I had the privilege as a member of the Board of Selectmen in 2011, I was asked to give out some scholarships as part of the ceremony. And it was life-changing for me to give out the scholarships and then be able to talk to the students that were receiving those scholarships and how appreciative they were. I thought it was just amazing. So I went on and actually was part of a team of selectmen, current selectmen and former selectmen, to raise enough money to have a Board of Selectmen scholarship fund. And that was kind of the entryway into the Alumni Association, and I started to really get an eye-opening to how much they do. Yep. And then, with the Hall of Fame nights, we all know about that, but the SHARE program and the programs that now are starting to come out and really take tread. It's really where the rubber meets the road and giving back to not only students that are coming through Chelmsford High School now, but former students as well that came back. Right. So I want to see those programs continue, and that's why I've taken a seat on the board and I'm helping out with the fundraising and help spearheading that, because I think that we have a real opportunity to continue this momentum and to grow this organization so that it's sustainable in the future forever. Right? It becomes dues-free, and a couple of our goals are, to become a dues-free organization where you graduate from Chelmsford High School, you automatically become a member, and you can now start to leverage all the support and programs that the Alumni Association has to offer.
Yeah, I know Jim's father because we're so the class of '61 for us is well represented with my dad, my mom, your dad, and I have a grandmother and a grandfather that graduated in '37. I guess I researched it. I have a great aunt that graduated in '27. So, there's a lot of history. So Lou, you're on board now with the association, and you're like the young gun as we sit here, right? So we all have these visions and these memories, and as the young gun, what brought you to kind of meld into what the Alumni Association should be?
Well, similar to these guys that just spoke, I mean, I enjoyed my 4 years at CHS tremendously, and I loved what I got out of CHS. I enjoyed my friends, the teachers, the administrators, the mentors. All of it from CHS made a huge impact on my life. I mean, I ended up deciding on which college I was going to go to based on some Chelmsford High alumni that had already been there. They had directed me in that area. The Chelmsford High alumni actually introduced me to my first job, which I'm still at, so it's been 16 years. And I owe that not to a college alumni, but to a CHS alumni. So when my wife and I moved back here 6 years ago, it was the perfect opportunity to somehow get involved in the community. My wife ended up taking a job at the high school, and when Mrs. Simonian saw me at one of the 4th of July parades, he mentioned that maybe I should get involved, and it was an honor, honestly, to have Mrs. Simonian even remember my name, let alone ask me to be involved. And this was really the perfect opportunity to come and give back to a town that has really given a lot to me and shaped my life a lot. So this was my opportunity, and I sort of embraced it.
Yeah. Terry and Jim have already kind of mentioned the scholarships and those kind of things. And so how did scholarships and that come to fruition? I mean, Firsthand, I see it with my softball players, and they've received it. So how did that all get started?
Well, as I said, when the organization was just getting started, we were trying to feel our way as to what are we going to be doing, okay? We knew full well that we were not going to supplement the school budget. That was one of the things we were not going to do. And so across the street from me lived an old alum from the class of 32, the town historian, George Adams Parkhurst. And when he knew that we were having an alumni, so he was all excited, okay, that we'd get involved. And so one day, as I was cutting my lawn, he was cutting his lawn, he said, one thing we could do, we could offer scholarships to the kids. I said, that's great. That's something we can give back, okay? So he, actually, he was the father of the scholarship program, the Alumni Association. Okay, he did a little bit of a fundraiser, raised some money, and we got the program started. I think we issued our first scholarships in 1991. Okay, and from that we developed a program of you donate so much money. You name the scholarship. If you donate $5,000, a minimum, then you establish a scholarship. That money is invested, so it's never spent. And so the first scholarship was the George Adams Parkhurst Scholarship. And 2 years ago, he gave us $10,000 as the principal. 2 years ago, when we gave out the George Adams Parkhurst Scholarship, we gave out the last of his $10,000. But his $10,000 is still there. Right. And that's the principle behind what we've got here. Okay, It's a pure endowment fund. We don't spend a penny of the money that people give us, only what it earns. Right. Okay, and it's a great thing. We're over 120 scholarships. Okay. Right. And it's a great night, as you know. You people have been there, and to see the kids get $100, $150, $1,000, whatever it happens to be. Okay, and it's a way of giving back.
And that must be one of your proud moments as the president.
And probably the most fun evening for me that I have, to see the smiles on the kids' faces, even on the donors' faces. I mean, they love it almost more than the kids do. As Jim said, to be able to hand the check to the kid, talk to him, see what he's going to be or she's going to be doing. It's just an amazing night. It's a lot of work.
and the scholarship, so I mean, it's not just for an athlete. It's
across the board. It's music. It's art. It's
service.
It's history. It's academics. Athletics. Anything that you can think of that we can actually measure, we'll do a scholarship for.
Right, and for the students, as I know my one of my softball players got my great uncle's scholarship, the Henry Zabert scholarship, and he was a historian,
right,
without a doubt.
Yeah.
And I mean, so it's not even need-based, right?
It is not need-based. It is merit-based only.
She excelled in history.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
merit-based only.
Yeah, and I know that there's been some great ones of just people that say that if you're going to go to school and be a nurse, I want.
Whether it be going to nurse, if you're going to a certain school.
Yep.
There's a myriad of reasons why you can win a scholarship from us.
And to add to that, the criteria is established both jointly with the individual the individuals that have given us the money, okay, to establish a scholarship. We work with them because some of them have ideas as to what kind of a kid they'd like to see win their scholarship. And so working with them, and to make sure that we're not breaking any laws, okay?
Or that we aren't setting up criteria that we can't
do.
We try to give it out every year. Correct. We don't want criteria that's going to be hard to do every year.
Right. Yeah. And so, Lou, you've kind of taken on the scholarship portion of it, and talk us through, for the students and for those that want to endow a scholarship.
Yeah, so I think the scholarship, obviously, it's the marquee program for the Alumni Association, and it's an honor to be part of it. Just to give you a couple stats, so there's 121 current scholarships right now that are given out. Last year during the awards, we gave out our $750,000 to CHS. So that's to alumni, that's to the seniors that are going on to college, and to alumni that are already in college and trying to get either a graduate degree or completing their undergrad degree. I mean, $750,000, that's right back to the town. It's incredible. I was a recipient back when I was in high school, so it's really cool to kind of fulfill the full circle and now be part of this. But the way the process works is anyone that has $5,000 can create their own scholarship. So oftentimes people donate $5,000 as their initial principal, and they name the scholarship in honor of somebody that's either passed or or that's contributed a lot to the community, whatever the case may be. And they set criteria, like Terry and Mr. Simonian said, to what is it going to mean to them? Like, what should the recipient be in terms of somebody that's worthy of receiving that scholarship? And then the scholarship is essentially just the interest that's accrued on the endowment of that principal every single year. So the principal never leaves, and every single year somebody's going to receive that scholarship forever.
Right.
And the beauty is you can continue to contribute. You know, there's a young man that was in my class, Jeff Haru. He passed away very young, and one of the other members of our class, Mark Hooley, established a scholarship for him. And he did these major golf tournaments, and he raised, what, $120,000?
$121,000.
And so they have a massive scholarship program now where 3 people receive the Haru scholarship every year, and it's a sizable scholarship. And one of the beauties is that I just wanted to add on to this is the scholarship doesn't affect your financial aid package either. It's actually a cash donation to the student. So, as you know, when I got mine, it was great because I got $300 that I got to go and contribute right to my books, and Colby didn't take any of that money away from my financial aid package.
Right.
It was right up front, and it was just it was awesome. I went and bought my books the first day, and I'm like, hey, I actually didn't have to buy these books.
Right.
Somebody else paid for it. So it's really a great program, and to watch the students and the donors come together on the scholarship night, it's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I think that obviously any money helps. You know, people say, well, is books enough? Well, with the tuition costs skyrocketing, of course it is. Like, and I think that, I noticed too that the students are saying, like, I did this. Somebody's recognizing me for my success at CHS, and that can't be a bad thing. That we send them off with the confidence that everybody's right behind you. Some of those things. The other things is, we have the Hall of Fame, though. Another key thing. It's unique that it's not just athletes. Although I think that I'm in it because I'm an athlete, but that's okay. But why is it so special? What was behind it? I know that you had this vision and it was yours. And
Back when I was the principal, I knew Lowell High School had a Hall of Fame, Methuen High School had a Hall of Fame. A lot of schools have Halls of Fame, So I wanted a Hall of Fame, but I was not going to have an athletic Hall of Fame, because there were too many kids in my school that not only exceeded in athletics, but they exceeded in other areas, And they've exceeded beyond themselves at the time. The president of UMass Lowell was a Chancellor High School graduate, Actors were Chancellor High School graduate. People who designed sets for TV programs were Chancellor High School graduate. So I wanted a Hall of Fame that was all-inclusive, Well, I had problems with that. Because I had some people at the school that wanted the traditional athletic Hall of Fame, and well, I became very stubborn, and I said, not on my watch.
Right.
So then when the Alumni Association got started, right away, I said, we'll do it. We'll do the Hall of Fame like I like to do it. Had a steering committee. We organized it, and we had the very first one, and we picked 9. We just picked a number out of the air. We'll induct 9 every year. And we've been doing this out for 27 years, and I got some statistics. We have inducted 243 people, And it's just a great night, as you know. You people have been there, and we've inducted scholars, we've inducted a number of Olympic athletes.
Yep.
People participating in the Olympics.
Yep.
So we're not limiting it. The only problem I have with the Hall of Fame, I got to be honest with this, there's an imbalance, but we're working on that. The imbalance male female, but we're working on that. We've inducted 243 people, and there's an imbalance, but we're working on that. But other than that, it's a great night, and it's another way of giving back.
So if I could just insert right here, if you look at the 2 programs, right, 2 very powerful programs that have very similar criterias, the Hall of Fame and the scholarships, not one penny of that money comes from taxpayers.
Right.
It's all fully sustainable outside of the tax base. We're not going to, ask for monies from the taxpayer as part of tax dollars, right? It's self-funded through donations and what we charge for the Hall of Fame dinner and what we get for donations for scholarship funds with that criteria. So it's nice, right? Because it's not something that's come out of the the tax base, so that we're going back to the town to look for funds out of the school budget or out of the town manager's budget.
And as we move forward, though, we have the Hall of Fame, we have the scholarships, you've got other things coming up.
Yeah, we have a Project Share coming up.
Yep.
Which is an idea to have mentors available to the students of CHS, allowing them to, well, they could shadow somebody at work for a day or two to see how they do their job. They can do critiques of their college applications to help them fill it out so that they do a better job of getting into school. They can do question and answer periods to strengthen their interview techniques. So there are several things that they can do to help the students better prepare themselves for life after CHS.
Very similar to what happened with you, Lou, right? I mean, you
Yeah.
reached out to an alum and they guided you where you were going. So, Jim, you've kind of been the point person, though, for the Lions Pride Endowment Fund. The capital campaign that I'm working on and moving it forward. And talk about the three key components to the campaign. And we've talked about all the programs and the, how many hours do you put in? A week, maybe, or a year?
Nobody counts.
Nobody counts about those things. So talk to me more about what your envision in moving the things forward.
Heather, there's three main goals, one of which is two-pronged, and I've already talked about it, to become a fully sustainable organization that's totally free. That would, when you graduate from Chelmsford High School, you would automatically become a member and we don't have to ask for dues.
Yep.
Right? So that's goal number one. The second goal is to try to find a full-time, to be able to fund and then find a full-time executive director that would be able to spearhead and continue to build these programs and make sure that the organization is completely sustainable and continues to function and grows. Right? So that's the second goal. And the third goal would be, down the road, to be able to build a building that we would be able to house all of the, football paraphernalia and trophies and yearbooks and hold reunions at, right? Think about, where this parcel is on Richardson Road. It overlooks the Carson track and the football field, but to have your reunion, be able to look out the back and see the high school that you graduated from, the football field that you might have played on, right? Or even the science pond is probably still viewable from there, right?
And be part of the SHARE program, have our alumni there, have students come over
There you go.
to talk and be in a nice setting and kind of inspire them in that respect, right?
Meeting space, possibly, be able to do continuing education and funds. It's in great proximity to the high school, where it's right there. So it's just a natural wave of where students and alumni could cross over, right?
Yep.
And be able to help one another and really be able to focus on these programs. This SHARE program, I'm very excited about this. Yes. I wish I had that as I was graduating, and I think about maybe all the mistakes that I made that I wouldn't have made if I had somebody that could have, said, hey, I've gone through this and this is how I did it, right? And you want to be careful of some of these steps that you have to take, right? To navigate those waters. So, those are the three goals.
Right.
And we're hoping that, with the addition of you, being able to spearhead this, that we'll start to get some funds in, that we can start to get these programs underway.
Well, I think, in closing, everybody just showed their true colors. We all bleed maroon and white, and that's what it's about. And, I think when you walk around the town of Chelmsford, everybody knows that, what it is and how special it is. And I just think that people need to jump on board, chsalumni.org, get to the website, understand and continue to ask the questions. I mean, I know everybody is still available to answer any questions that people have about any of the programs and those kind of things. So I want to thank you guys, and I want to say to everybody, bleed maroon and white.